Back in 2020, I took out my extensions and was left with this sad excuse for hair. And then over the last 4 years, I did anything I could possibly do to grow my hair longer. From random hacks I saw online to weird snake oil. Until I finally found a sustainable routine that I followed that got my hair from this to this. Then came October 2024. And after spending all this time feeling my hair was in a great place, I'd worked so hard, I felt, you know what, I could be a little wild. As someone who was anti any heat on my hair because I was just focusing on growth, I was like, you can do a little heat on your hair. You can do a little curl. For Halloween, I was Sabrina Carpenter and I decided to book a blowout to curl my hair. And it destroyed my hair. Specifically, the individual who did it was clearly not knowledgeable on my hair type, put no heat protectant, and just reamed on my hair when it was wet and literal chunks came out. And I woke up the next day with the biggest pit in my stomach. It was like all that work I'd done over those 4 years to finally get to a place to just throw it away for one night, for just a little curl for Halloween. I was so mad at myself.
It shouldn't hurt as much as it is just hair.
So what happened? Once again, spiraling. I ordered Nutrafol. I started Googling PRP treatments, red light masks, everything possible. I was like, hey, I'm gonna order this and this and this and this, and I have to get my hair back. Oh my God. At this time, I was facing pretty aggressive burnout. And so my mental health, not in the best of place. So yes, I overreacted. But after managing my burnout, managing my stress, I was able to more focus and look at it as a bigger picture and tell myself, Keltie, you've done this before. I managed my stress, I went back to my routine and followed it from October to now, and I can finally say my hair is exactly back to where it was. It's in a good place, just a solid, healthy routine, which I'm gonna share with you guys today. I'm gonna bring you guys through my hair care routine that grew out my hair and a bunch of healthy habits that are completely free that I think actually made the biggest difference from growing my hair out. First, I'm gonna rapid fire through my hair care routine because it hasn't changed. So if you watched any of my videos before, you've seen it because it works, but it's also not really the reason I think my hair grew as much. I have 3 different shampoos and conditioners. First, hair wash of the week, 1 is moisturizer. I am really dry, so one of my things is moisturizing. And I use the Yellow Line from Orbea, and I use their shampoo and conditioner if I need a little mask, and that's 1 shampoo a week. Then my second shampoo of the week is all about strengthening. So it is the protein of my hair care routine. I use Olaplex, some people use K18, and I use their shampoo and conditioner, and when I need extra, I use the mask. And then third is my wild card, and it's a cleansing cream because I broke up with dry shampoo. I no longer use dry shampoo, but I'm a sweaty girl. So I normally am fine with just those 2 shampoos, but if I just have dirt and grime on my hair and it's gross, I use a cleansing cream between shampoos. And the best way I could describe it is it gets out the dirt and the product, but it leaves in your natural oil. So your hair looks a little greasy after, but it's clean. So it's for my sweaty girls, a nice alternative to dry shampoo and caking things on. And then I use heat protecting before I blow dry my hair. I use this scalp thickening serum, and at the end I close my cuticles after I blow dried. And that is what I've done every single time. It is definitely overkill. And I will give a tip with skincare, hair care I learned, figure out what kind of hair type you have and make sure you have products that target it. Like skincare is a great example. I've learned from dermatologists is we all kind of need moisturizer and sunscreen. That's universal. But those serums are dependent on specific needs you have. For example, I have dry skin, so I use a hydrating serum. If you have acne prone, you would need something that's more targeted towards that. And so that's where your serums in skincare and hair care is very similar to that. So it's really figuring out what is causing the damage. What are you trying to solve? Is it you want more thickness? Do you want frizz control? And so for me, I really narrowed it down to 2 things: strengthen and hydrate. And get a shampoo and conditioner that does that. Pile of shame. I won't lie, I made this try and look presentable, and I hid all these random products. Next, I'm gonna go into the free healthy habits I did, the supplements I took, some mental things I did, and a few products I bought that aren't shampoo and conditioner that did make a world of difference. Number 1, being careful when my hair is wet. Some of these will be very obvious for some of you, and so just bear with me. I'm giving this for the people like myself who weren't aware of this. I would get out of the shower and just ream on my hair. Your hair is most fragile when it's wet. So now I let it air dry just a little bit. I don't go to bed with wet hair. And then I make sure to have a brush that isn't damaging. So there's specific brushes for wet hair you can get, but just if you're gonna make sure to do this, you hold the top of your hair and then you lightly brush so it's not pulling at the end, and just be nice and gentle. 2, I get knots in my hair. I wear hats, I have jackets, you get little knots in your hair, and I used to just ream on them as well. But now I know this is annoying. I take the time to slowly pick out each hair from the knot, and then I can kind of undo it. versus in the past, I would just ream it out and suddenly there's a chunk of my hair gone. 3, be mindful of hair ties. I find they can pull at hair. A lot of them causes tension and pulling at your head if they're really tight. So yes, I use like a silk or very soft hair tie now, so it's not reaming on my hair and causing aggressive and breakage. 4, I eliminated dry shampoo. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this, but I realized for me, it would sit on my top of my hair and it really contributed to bad scalp health. Now, there's 2 things about hair growth. 1, you just want to make sure your scalp is healthy enough so the hair grows out there. But 2, it's also about just maintaining your hair that grows. This was an eye-opening thing for me with my hair growth journey, is like I used to just think of like what products can I do to like literally grow the hair. And then I realized one day, like there's only so much your hair can actually grow in a month. So it's not really about the hair growth, it's the hair maintenance. So first, you just want to make sure there's no underlying issues, keeping your scalp healthy. And for me, that was eliminating dry shampoo and making sure I'm washing my hair properly and not having any dirt and oil sitting on there. So I actually sometimes will double shampoo if I have a lot of product on there. But then second, it's like changing my mind from how do I grow my hair faster, and then how do I just maintain my hair that's growth. And that's the biggest thing, and that's what these things do, is it's just stopping my hair from breaking. And once again, this is obvious for some of you, it's less about growing your hair more, it's just maintaining your hair that's growth, because you can't really stimulate it too much to grow more. I'll talk about it then though. Which is number 5, leaning into my natural hair. I used to go to the hairdresser and just be like, dye it bright, bleach blonde. And I didn't realize that was like a cool tone. I am naturally very light. It is quite easy for me to be a bright blonde, but I didn't realize there was different types of blonde. There's a cool tone blonde and there's a warm tone blonde. And like, I didn't realize how damaging it was just always trying to be a cool toned blonde, because my hair didn't hold it as well. And it was harder and more processing to it. So now like there's next to no processing on my hair. We just throw in a few, I forget the actual term. I'm going to get it from my hairdresser, insert here.
He does highlights with a very low intensity bleach for a few minutes, and then a high gloss root shadow after.
And then we just put it on my hair very lightly, and then it grows out. And so for me, I actually don't fully dye my hair. We just throw in a couple highlights and the sun will naturally lighten it as it gets out. So that's why I always have more roots and it's darker than here, because it almost evens it out, the sun. So I've really leaned into having a warm toned blonde versus like just the cool platinum ashy. And as much as I look at it sometimes like, oh, that's so pretty, it's just so much less damaging. So unfortunately, yeah, leaning into your natural. You still dye your hair and there is ways to do it healthy, but like I said, it's leaning into just like accentuating what you have. Like this was the hair color I had as a baby. And unfortunately, blondes, we just get a little darker. So now I just throw in a few highlights and let the sun do the rest. And number 6 is back to what I was saying, the mindset change of stop trying to force my hair to grow more and just maintain the hair I've grown. Actually, before I dive into supplements, some other things I did that were completely free and some that I bought is I'm going to be working on a video about hair growth techniques, because it seems to be your hair can grow anywhere from ½ inch to 1 inch a month. About 12 inches over the course of the year seems to be everything online I saw. But is it possible to push it even farther? I'm going to be testing all the hair growth techniques possible out there to see if it is possible. So comment down below any of you want to see like that, like red light and all this. But for me to get my hair to here, it was stop focusing on that and was just focusing on maintaining the 12 inches a year that will naturally happen.
Bonus. My stylist Chris, he gave us his top 8 hair growth tips featuring a special guest Pete. Number 1, brush your wet hair very softly in small sections. 2, a more low maintenance color equals less damage. He dyes my hair so the roots blend in when it grows out, so I only have to dye my hair every 4 to 6 months. 3, you don't need 1,000 new products. A good quality shampoo and conditioner will go miles, plus a leave-in conditioner to protect your hair from the heat and a hair mask. 4, less is more with heat and color. 5, get regular cuts, but don't cut too much. If your hair is only growing ½ an inch a month and you're cutting 1 inch every month, no, it's never going to grow. But it's true, you got to get rid of those split ends. So Chris just does a quick tiny trim on the end to get rid of the splits for me. 6, inside out, how you eat impacts your hair health. 7, massage your scalp. It does help with blood flow, which equals hair growth. Last, get a stylist that understands you. We all have unique hair needs, so instead of trying to look online for 1,000 things, just find a professional that can help you out specifically. Chris specializes in blonde, and that's why I've always gone to him.
So 4 things I bought that were a one-time investment that paid off so much with maintaining that hair as it grows out. Number 1, silk scrunchies. Now you can get so many on Amazon and all that. The slip ones are so nice. I buy 1 3-pack a year. I wait for the semi-annual sale at Sephora and get them, or they're stocking stuffers for people. They are crazy expensive. Like someone asked me to borrow a ponytail. I'm like, you give it back. Like I'm mean about it. I'm mean. I've lent it to friends and at the end I'm like, okay, keep it. Come. Pull it out. You're not keeping this. And if you've seen them, I wait till they're disheveled. Like they are so stretched out. I don't care. a stretched out silk hair tie will go so much further than those stupid little ones, the black ones. I can't do with them anymore. Once you go silk, you can't go back. And there's plenty of dupes on Amazon. 2, silk pillowcase. Same idea. I didn't think this made a difference until I started going to hotels and realizing how fried my hair looked in the morning after sleeping on a regular pillowcase versus like a silk one. Now you can also get like silk bonnets. That's a big thing, but I haven't done that. I find just sleeping on a silk pillowcase has worked wonders. Like it's night and day, and it makes sense. There's just not as much friction all morning. And so now even when I travel, I have a really cheap one I bought off Amazon that I bring with me while I travel, because that's embarrassing. 3, a microfiber towel to dry my hair. Now, it is also very damaging to go to bed with wet hair, but I also don't want to just like blow dry my hair right away because heat is damaging on hair. So I find this microfiber towel just helps absorb it a little bit. It keeps it out of my way while it's air drying a little bit, and then I'll blow dry my hair after. And oh, those things, they're so nice. And 4, a boar bristle brush. I find these are great because it like kind of exfoliates your scalp a bit. It's not as damaging. I find it's a lot more gentle on your hair. Things just don't get snagged as much. And so once again, these are all investment things and they're very expensive, but they're things that like I've only bought once and then I've had for my whole hair growth journey. So once again, Sephora, semi-annual sale, your birthday. These are great things to ask for. Supplements. At first I took all these hair growth supplements. I tried all these things and honestly there was no difference. The one that does seem to work is biotin, but I actually don't take biotin because it's an AG1, which I take every single day, so I stopped taking it. I am experimenting with Nutrafol, so hit subscribe if you want to see that because that will be in the hair growth video. If it's worth it, if it does boost that extra, but I got all this way with all this hair growth without it. Now, you do need to make sure you're getting enough healthy foods, healthy fats, hydrating yourself, just to optimize what your genetic ability is capable of for hair growth. And so that just comes with fueling your body. And I always kind of think of things like hair and nail, like aren't a necessity to live. So if you're not giving yourself enough nutrients, your body's obviously gonna give those nutrients to your heart and liver before your hair. So that's why you wanna make sure you're getting enough nutrients, because your body's like, yeah, our heart, bloodstream, brain, good, throw it to the hair. We need some of that. And that's how I always say, just make sure you're getting enough nutrients. And lastly, I'm gonna talk mental health. This seems cheesy, but this is the biggest difference. The reason I got hair extensions in the first place was I lost my hair in my late teens. So I was about 18 to 20 in that age group. And I was always known as the long-haired blonde. And I know some of you have heard this 1,000 times, but if you're new here, I'll explain that was like my identity, what I was known as. And then my hair started falling out. And I remember the moment when I came back from summer vacation in college and people were like, you cut your hair. And I was like, no, I didn't. And then I went and felt it and realized, yeah, like I was losing my hair. And it was also the most stressful part of my life without going into it. Like I had a basketball injury, so I couldn't play basketball. I was a college basketball player at the time, and many of other things. I had some family issues. I was in a weird living situation. I just had a lot of stress going on, and the stress is what caused me to lose my hair. So I eventually kind of grew it back a bit, but then I put on hair extensions as a Band-Aid cure, and then eventually took off the Band-Aid cure and just healed myself. And I have noticed such a tie to stress and hair. So I think actually my stress management is one big thing that's really made a big difference with my hair growth. And these are some of the things. 1, walks. Going on a daily walk. The stupid walk for mental health. It works. Just out in nature. It's so simple. 2, hugs. You actually release like a certain amount of oxytocin when you hug someone for like 20 seconds. If you got a dog, please pet that dog. Go do it. But it is actually so great for your mental health. I've said it once, I've said it before. If you want to think about a good stress technique, is could you run from a tiger while doing it? And that's kind of my barometer. I'm like, my body doesn't know the difference between me studying for exam and running for a tiger. So I just try to think, what could I not do while running from a tiger? I couldn't hug someone for 20 seconds while running from a tiger. So it's probably my body saying, hey, we can relax. 3, putting up boundaries. I'm a people pleaser. I don't say no. I will burn myself out. I will say yes and overcommit to 1,000 things. So learning how to put up boundaries. 4, the complete opposite is forcing myself to be social even when I don't feel like it. As someone who's an extrovert, the pandemic put a really weird spot for a lot of us. Like we got used to the comfortability of being home. And for whatever reason, I had this mind that like, I'm gonna be exhausted. Like leaving the house is hard. It's uncomfortable. But just because something's hard doesn't mean it's bad for you. You won't enjoy it. And so I think we sometimes confuse comfortability with like happiness, and comfortability is really tied to lazy. So you need those nights. You need to stay and don't overcommit, put up boundaries, but that doesn't mean like going out with your friends is gonna exhaust you. And I think I just got into such a bad habit of not seeing my friends because we were social isolating that I just assumed seeing my friends would be exhausting. And that sounds silly, but now I'm like, no, You know what is great for your mental health? Laughter. Being around other humans, oxytocin, hugging people. So really forcing myself and really reflecting. If I've been social every single week and I'm not doing my chores, yeah, stay in. But if I'm just constantly saying no to my friends because I'm like, oh, I'm tired and I need to go do my 8-step night routine. Oh, go. It's good for you. And 5, having just like what I call dopamine replenishing techniques. Just little things in your toolkit you can kind of do throughout the day because we have so much that just depletes our dopamine, or we get fast hits of dopamine. So it's depleted, just little things that help bring us back to center. Example, dancing. You can do cold exposure, and that can just even be as simple as stepping outside in the cold or putting an ice cube on your neck. 3, meditating, or for me, going on a walk. Some things that really help for me is just using a breathing technique, and something I've used as a toolkit sometimes when I'm like, no, you need a little bit more, is the app Headspace, which has kindly sponsored this video. The reason I love it is, you guys know I'm not really great at meditating. I sit there and my mind's wander. So it's such nice to have like a guided meditation, and something about it, it like takes the pressure off. Like, I don't have to go sit here. How do I meditate? I can just go listen to it. And I've always found the voice very calming.
Sunshine, bringing a sense of warmth.
Even just hearing that little ding, it has always just like instant cortisol reduction. And it's nice to have tools, because the reality is, yes, I could just go meditate, but I've said it before, I feel we have so much technology in our lives, and sometimes we have to fight technology with technology, whether it be an app that blocks other apps or using an app to have us take a moment to ourselves away from our phones, the chaos of the world. And the reality is, I can't be scrolling on my phone when Headspace is on. It's like, no, Keltie, it's your time to meditate. And one of the great things I've done on my hair care journey is just reducing stress. And the reality is, you cannot get rid of stress in life. I used to have this idea that stress was this thing that I just have to master my routine and master control, and then one day I'll be stress-free and I'll never be stressed again. And then I realized one day, a couple months ago, that no, life will never get less stressful. It would just get more stressful. The older I get, the more stressful it gets. People start dying. I suddenly have kids, I have dogs, I have more responsibility. I've realized now I'm only going to get more stress and more stress. And the only solution to deal with stress is tools. Because with that stress is I can build tools along the way. And so now I feel I'm a lot better at combating stress. And it's not one tool fits all. It's just having little tools in your toolkit for the moment. Sometimes it is, yes, I want to go on a Sunday and have a nice walk. Sometimes it is calling my mom. Sometimes I can't do that and I can just throw on a Headspace meditation, sit there, calm myself down and relax in the chaos of a work day and sneak into the bathroom and do it. Or it's a great way to just have a tool to help you build the habit. And that is where I love using Headspace. It's a tool in your toolkit that's easily accessible. And if you want to try Headspace, I'm not going to talk about it and of course not give you guys a code. You can click the QR code here or use my code Keltie60 for a 60-day free trial of Headspace, so you can try it and see if it's a tool that you want to keep in your toolkit. I'll put the link down in the description. Thank you, Headspace, for sponsoring this video. And I find by doing those mental health things, having them in my toolkit, first of all, made me more rational with my hair care routine and just less stressed. And when you're less stressed, your body is more likely to grow your hair. Because once again, if you're stressed, your body's just like, we need to focus on her heart, not her hair. That's where I really changed my mindset. 2 things of like, your hair is your last thing your body cares about. So you got to give everything else to your body mentally, physically, emotionally. And 2, instead of just focusing on Googling, how do I grow my hair out? How do I grow out my hair out? Just realize there's only so much you can actually grow it in a week or a month, or what kind of things can you do to just make sure your hair isn't breaking off. And for me, that's being gentle when it's wet, not forcing it to be colors it's not. Just thinking of like mindful, like even as simple as like when my hair gets caught in my coat, I used to just rip it right out. And now I was like, no, now I'm like, that will pull some of it out from the purse. Just kind of nicely take it and pull it out. And I know it's annoying and your hair can take more. And I've taken to the extreme where like if a friend, touched my hair, I'm like, oh my God, your hair is stronger than you think. But I think it's just being mindful of like, how often are you just reaming on your hair when there's a knot in it instead of being kind to your hair? And those were the techniques I've used. Now there is some techniques like I've written them down: rosemary oil, castor oil, Nutrafol, heatless curls, red light therapy, that I am currently starting to test, and I will be posting that video in a little bit because I'm going to see, is it possible to grow your hair more than about 1 inch a month? Hit subscribe if you want to see that. And I'd love to hear down in the comments anything else you guys have done that has really helped improve your hair, on your hair growth, or just share some wins in your hair growth journey, because I am very blessed to have a really supportive comment sections. I hope you guys enjoy this. I first of all want to say thank you. If you watched the I Did Nothing video for 30 days, I was in a dark spot. The hair curl incident was definitely an emotional trigger, and I went to like full panic attack, and I was in a rough spot. But reading that comment section, even if I haven't responded and you left a comment, just know that comment section is my most prized possession. Whenever I'm feeling a little down, need a little motivation, I go to that comment section and pick a new comment, read it, try to respond to it. So even if like I haven't responded, I think I eventually will get there, because like I hold those comments with such, like, my most prized possession, which is crazy because it's online. It doesn't really exist. Maybe I don't really exist. But if you're on your hair growth journey, wishing you luck. It comes down to being gentle with yourself, fueling yourself properly. And there's a few little tricks and hacks. And yeah, don't on your hair. My mom used to tell me that and I didn't listen. And once I started listening, boom, my hair grew. Moms are always right. Moral of the story though, have a great day. Go pet a dog. Love you guys. Bye.